Yeah, that's not exactly what that looks like. Oh.
Hello, my weird and wonderful human beings. Editing Eve here. Hi. I'm going to be popping in occasionally to explain what's going on because, as it turns out, I did a pretty terrible job of explaining what's happening when I actually recorded this. Part of that is because I'm still not really comfortable recording in front of my friends and coworkers and fellow students because it's weird. And part of that is because when I'm in the lab, I actually have to focus on what I'm doing. So that doesn't always translate to me actually explaining things. So, let's fill you in.
Okay, so on the docket today, I need to process 4 different genetic donors, run the Buffy codes, isolate the macrophages. We need to start the cellular training process and cryopreserve the non-adherent cells. So, I got stuff to do. Okay, big day ahead. Alright, we got this.
When you go to grad school, especially for a program that is more research-based or has more research applications, your time is split between taking classes and engaging in independent research.
If I get lost down here, someone send a search and rescue team, okay?
As I may have mentioned once or twice before, my research is actually focused on the intersection of infectious disease, immunology, and epigenetics.
I think it's this way.
I mostly work with immune cells derived from human blood.
We got blood.
Which we then treat with BCG in order to prevent tuberculosis infection and then intentionally infect. We see how they perform, what cells do better, and how the BCG vaccine changes the way that these cells respond to infection.
This whole process starts by working with human blood. We're going to be using the SEPmate protocols from Stem Cell Technologies. Protocols, for the record, are just the scientific equivalent of recipes. And fun fact, you can find most protocols on YouTube. Manufacturers post step-by-step instructions for their scientific procedures to make sure that you know how to do it right. This protocol in particular requires multiple successive centrifugation steps, which means we're going to be here for a while.
As I'm a student, I'm not in the lab every day, but I am going in probably 3 days a week in order to conduct my research, check on experiments, and basically keep up to date.
My experimental protocol comes in 2 parts. You already saw the first part where we isolate the cells using the centrifuge and the SEPmate protocols. The second part involves flasking, where we put the cells into culture flasks so that they can mature over a week from monocytes into macrophages. These cells are later infected and then added to the IncuSite, where they're observed over the course of 7 to 10 days. The IncuSite takes pictures every 3 hours to 12 hours, depending on what kind of information we're looking for. And we can then collect data on confluency, cell death, bacterial growth, and get a better idea of how the immune reactions are changed with the addition of BCG. Working in a lab as a grad student is a weird mix of responsibility and utter dependence. You have to schedule procedures, reserve lab time, make sure you have enough of reagents to do your experiments, but at the same time, you don't have access to the machinery or equipment, or even some of the chemicals that you may need to do your projects without supervision. It can feel a lot like when you're a teenager and you're starting to get that first taste of independence, but you still need to get a ride from mom and dad to go to the mall. It's basically that, but science.
And there you have it. Learning new lab procedures and protocols can be stressful, but if you break things down into their individual steps and just take them one step at a time, you'll find that behind all of the jargon and technicalities, most of them are not as complicated as they like to appear. And that's it. That is what a regular day in the lab looks like. I hope this was helpful and helped to dispel some of the trepidation that you might have around a lab. I promise they're not as scary as they seem, and the stuff we do there is pretty cool. I hope that wherever you are in the world that you are safe, that you are well, and that I will see you next time. Bye.